All right, so Apple just announced that they are going to be using your personal messages, your iPhone camera, your conversations with Siri to train and develop its own AI. Now, the big goal here is to eventually compete with the giants like OpenAI and Google, and eventually eliminate the need for third-party players within their ecosystem. So let's get to it. All right, so Apple's big bonanza just happened, and, I'm not going to lie to you, I've enjoyed these over the years, dating back to Steve Jobs. But the last 5 years have been kind of met with the same sentiment.
We knew this was coming, right? A very, very minor, incremental, overall update.
Pretty underwhelming. I'm not going to talk about any of the products, so to speak. I'm going to talk about their new flagship, Apple Intelligence, also known as AI. Whoa. Anyways, there's a whole bunch of stuff that they said, repeated, and didn't say, and left a whole bunch of stuff open to interpretation. So we're going to go through that. So I have a couple clips loaded up, and we're going to take these one by one. The first one is about the images. It's at 5110. You want to cue that? I don't have fucking assistants. Are you kidding me? 5110. All right, here we go.
Can't remember exactly when or where. Just describe it by typing something like Shawnee dancing in a red dress, and Apple Intelligence will find it for you. It even works for getting straight to a specific moment in a video. You'll also be able to create an entire movie to revisit a favorite memory just by typing a description of whatever you have in mind, like the kids learning to crochet with Aunt Fiona. Apple Intelligence will automatically find relevant photos and videos and smartly arrange them into a storyline. We hope you'll enjoy building your own collection of movies that you can...
That's enough of that. All right, so on its face, it's kind of cool. It's convenient. I mean, I don't know how many hours I spend looking through my album of thousands of images. Sure, it's convenient. Is it groundbreaking? Not really. So what are the implications? Coincidentally, with these new upgraded chips, the A18 and the one for the Pro Max models, I've seen a great improvement, and not to mention improved camera capability, now taking 4K videos with 120 FPS. That's big. So as the chip gets better, the camera gets better, what they're going to do with your photos, God only knows what they're going to do. And look, I'm not sitting here saying they're going to leak pictures of your wiener or anything. I mean, nobody needs to see that. But what's going to happen is they have the opportunity to take real-time images and teach a new AI model. If you take any image generation model like Midjourney or DALL-E, an OpenAI product, the input data that they have is nothing comparable to the trillions of live and videos and images that people will be taking using the iPhone. You're going to get a real life experience. Whether they're going to build an AI generation model, I mean, that's TBD, right? That's to be determined. They have done this thing with the emojis this time around where you can just type in your prompt and it'll get you a custom emoji, which is kind of cool. So what they're actually going to do with that, but just think of the realistic photos that people take of everyday life. This is one step further to getting AI to be as close to a human or kind of a human life as possible. So again, what they do with that, we don't know, but it sure sets up for something interesting. All right, so let's look at the second thing where they talk about your data.
Systems are built, and private cloud compute delivers just that. When you draw on private cloud compute, your data is never stored or shared with Apple.
No, of course not.
It's used only to fulfill your requests. And in a first for the industry, independent experts can continuously verify this privacy promise. This is an extraordinary step forward for privacy and AI.
I watched this presentation a couple of times, and the amount of times that they made mention of this, it felt like every 2 minutes. They were like, guys, this is very secure. It is kept in a vault. Nobody knows where the vault is. Don't worry. It's safe. We're safe. Don't worry about it, guys. But look, as great of a reputation as maybe Apple has had compared to other tech companies, they're still vulnerable. We have seen so many cyber attacks on Apple and their internal data and attacking their servers. I mean, it's crazy to think that they're actually safe. I mean, nobody is. Let's be real. This is not to point out Apple. I mean, nobody really is safe. So interestingly enough, one of the recent cyber attacks on Apple was a group of hackers. They were able to hack Apple through a, drumroll, a third-party application. And this time it was Adobe. It's not the first. It wasn't the last. If there's any foreshadowing here about using your images to create new AIs, the fact that it went through Adobe, and the two are pretty close. They do develop products together, and Adobe is a image, video generating, editing AI tool. Not saying anything. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to put those two together. Finally, I want to talk about Siri. This is a very interesting one. I've been using AI since it came out. So since the very first version of ChatGPT, I've used Claude and Perplexity and everything. More of a ChatGPT guy myself, but that's neither here nor there. All of the new versions of ChatGPT have improved in terms of analytical reasoning, logical deduction, all of these things that deal kind of with numbers and large-scale applications. But the one thing that the AI has not been able to do is replicate a human in terms of tone, in terms of writing, in terms of life. Now, imagine the data that you would get from Siri. Billions and billions of conversations every month. The AI is able to pick up on so many things. I mean, you are not going to get a system where you get that much voice and you get everything from like dialect to how people talk from each state to each city to each country to, you get so much input data. And I mean, there is no end realistically to what you can do with that data. Those two things, the imagery, the natural imagery, the integration of AI into the life of a human to see how they take pictures and then to listen to how they communicate is really the first step to create something sentient, to create a AI system that is truly as close to human as possibly can be. So look, they're going to do something. Whether they roll it out into their own platform and they're now, no more Google, no more OpenAI, we have our own thing, that is to be determined. But these inputs are absolutely incredible. I mean, it is incredible to get that much real human life interaction. So who knows? So finally, what does this all mean? Does it even mean anything? Who cares? I mean, a lot of people are in this camp, What are they doing with people sign up for Facebook, they sign up for Twitter, they give their emails, they sign up via social media. That's how all of this information is passed along between third parties for the Facebook, the election scandal that happened a few years back. I don't remember the company name, but as soon as you say sign up with Facebook or sign up with Google, I mean, you're vulnerable to third-party attacks or third parties having your data. It just is what it is. A lot of people think I got nothing to hide. But, going back to the image generation thing, there has been a big battle between artists and AI companies. I mean, these AI models are being trained on publicly available data, which includes Instagram, where a lot of artists and designers are posting their stuff. And that's where you get products like Ad Creative AI and InVideo AI and all these other art generation tools, right? So there is a big issue here in terms of copyright, and things are starting to progress into kind of an AI safety. There's a lot of regulations. There's a lot of legislation that has been tentatively agreed upon in North America, and especially the EU. The EU is usually kind of a step ahead in terms of these kind of sensitive issues that deal with copyright and fairness. So all of these things have kind of been tentatively signed, but nobody really knows how the implementation is going to look and if people are even going to give a shit. Who really knows? I think for the majority of the people, nobody's going to really care. Use the photos, use whatever, look at my wiener, whatever. But it's really, at the end of the day, all up to you. And that's the end of the video. Hope you guys liked it. I'm going to have another part of this where I'm going to talk about the third-party integrations and what OpenAI and Google are doing with Apple for the time being. So please, guys, like, share, do all that stuff that I'm supposed to say. Thanks.